Hello and welcome to a very episode of Go on Shaw TV. Now, if there's anything we're known for here in the Fraser Valley, it's growing food. Corn, vegetables, and even fruits. You name it, we grow it. And it's certainly something worth celebrating, which is why I'm here in downtown Abbotsford for this year's Berry Beet Festival. Do I get something from a food truck or a restaurant? Look at these mixed boxes. A chicken burger and the mandarin one. If you have one. That's delicious. Now, before I begin gorging myself on one of the things this festival is all about, eating, let's start the show talking about Fort McMurray. The city is full of many people who have moved from their hometowns to start a life for themselves. However, unfortunately, the recent forest fires have upended everything, which is the case for Chilliwack native Heather Campbell, whose hometown is pitching in to help.
I know it. Yesterday was really hot and muggy. This is my final ride through Fort McMurray before going to Edmonton.
Heather Campbell was one of the thousands of people from Fort McMurray whose life all of a sudden was completely upended on a weekday in early May. You probably saw it all unfold on social media.
Felt like an inferno. I felt like I was actually in hell because the flames were so high. It was so hot in my truck. My windows were up, but you could taste the fire in your mouth. It wasn't good.
It's why she's back here in Chilliwack, living in the spare bedroom of her mother's house. And it's all really unfortunate because the reason Heather moved to Fort McMurray in the first place was to start a life for herself.
You know, 45, not married, I don't have any children, and a lot of people that are at my age have those kids and those stabilities for later in life. So I needed some way to stabilize my future. The only real thing that was about Fort McMurray that I loved was my home, and that was something for me to be very proud of because I've had a rough couple burps in life.
Now, back to the fire. See, Heather, in many ways, is incredibly lucky. Her house is still standing. However, that doesn't mean she can live in it. Her neighborhood has been deemed uninhabitable because the burnt-down complexes across the street haven't been cleaned up. And until they're cleaned up, there's no claiming insurance, and access is only between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
My life's in the government's hands. It's not in my control until they make the decision on what we can do. I have no control over my own life. So it's hard to take. It's a really hard pill to swallow.
Now, Heather also lost her job. And mounting on top of that stress is the fact that she is her complex strata president. And since even the fire started, she's been making sure her neighbors are cared for. But there's some hope, because here in Chilliwack, it's her mom's neighbor and their friend who are making sure she's cared for.
How are you?
We all ended up crying. The three of us ended up sitting there crying with Heather when she was trying to tell us even small parts of her story. And it was very difficult to listen to. It really brought it home on a very personal level that our new neighbor now is one of these casualties of this fire. And I just thought that we absolutely had to help some way or another.
And so, to help, they've organized a fundraiser at Major League's 2 pub on July 22nd. And not only that, they've set up a GoFundMe page, all to help Heather get back on her feet.
And it's one of those situations where it's there, but for the grace of God go I.
I'm always the one to give. Certainly not to this magnitude have I been the receiver. A lot of people are stepping up to the plate and really wrapping their arms around me, giving me a big warm hug. And I'm grateful. Come here. Come see Mama. That's a good girl.
In Chilliwack, I'm Jonathan Horst for Go on Shaw TV.
Sadie, come see Mama. Come see Mama. Come on.